Welcome to the Contractor's Quick Guide to Recent IR35 Updates by Qdos, one of the UK's leading experts on the legislation. In this guide, we'll be looking at the most recent amendments made in relation to the IR35 legislation, why it is important for contractors to have their contract reviewed for compliance, and the importance of holding IR35 insurance. The legislation itself has remained largely unchanged since it was introduced. However, the past year has shown that the government is keen to reform IR35 in order to both simplify it and increase the revenue generated, which may mean some further changes in the future. The key change implemented since 6th of April this year is that those operating through a personal service company and within the IR35 legislation are restricted from claiming expenses in relation to travel and subsistence. This means that if a contractor is investigated by HMRC under the IR35 legislation and is determined to have been working inside IR35, any expenses claimed in relation to travel and subsistence will be owed in addition to the tax and national insurance liabilities, interest and penalties. A proposal was also made in the budget this year, which suggested that from April 2017, contractors working in the public sector will no longer take responsibility for determining their IR35 status. This will be placed on the public sector bodies and agencies who engage limited company contractors instead, who will also be responsible for making the relevant payments to HMRC. A further consultation document is expected this summer. Operating inside IR35 is in itself not a problem, but it does mean a reduced take-home pay, so it is important to assess compliance with each engagement. If HMRC wish to look into your tax situation, they will first issue a letter requesting information, including the income relating to a specified accounting period with accompanying contracts, a description of the services provided, details of the end client if an agency was used, and finally, information specifically in relation to the IR35 legislation. This will include your opinion of where the engagement falls with regards to IR35 and with supporting evidence. If HMRC are satisfied with the response, they will close the case. If not, then they will proceed with an investigation. This may mean requesting further information, conducting an interview with yourself, and interviewing the end client, which is where most problems arise. HMRC will assess the written contract for compliance as well as evaluate the true nature of the working relationship with your end client. Should you be deemed to fall foul of the rules, you may be liable to pay back tax, national insurance contributions, interest and any penalties found owing, which could go into the thousands. It has been made clear that the legislation is not as effective as had been hoped. In the IR35 discussion document published last July, it was stated that the government estimates that non-compliance with the legislation will cost the Exchequer £430 million in tax and national insurance receipts this year, and without reform, it expects this loss to continue to grow. It is therefore more important than ever to ensure you are operating compliantly. This means having your written contract reviewed for compliance by a professional, as well as your working practices, and should you fall within the rules, ensuring a deemed payment is made at the end of the tax year, and that you do not claim expenses for travel and subsistence in light of the new rules. Your accountant will be able to assist with any additional payments required. Our dedicated status review team assess over 500 contracts and working practices arrangements every single month, and are renowned for their expertise and efficient service throughout the contracting community. Another way in which contractors can be protected against IR35 is to take out insurance. Although IR35 intends to tackle disguised employees, the legislation is not straightforward. IR35 is based on historic case law, which is open to interpretation, which means that even a genuine contractor could fall foul of IR35 in the eyes of HMRC and receive a hefty tax bill. Our tax liability cover is a revolutionary policy which goes further than your standard tax inquiry insurance by continuing to cover for the liabilities, interest and penalties owed in the event that you are both investigated and found to be operating inside IR35. Not only does the policy provide comprehensive cover, but you will also have one of the UK's leading experts fighting your case from day one, ensuring that you have the best possible defence throughout your case. Our tax consultants are ex-HMRC inspectors themselves and have defended over 1,500 successful cases over the years, whilst we currently provide over 6,000 contractors with the peace of mind of our tax insurance policies. If you have any queries or would like to get in touch, please visit www.qdoscontractor.com or call 0116 269 0999.